This is Gerald Overmars. Every letter is a kind of orientation that we use to orientate ourselves upon the combinations of letters that are in words, and it goes all very automatically. So let's have some calculations, because then we also can see how the automated calculations are done, that we really see how this estimation process really works. So of course it goes automatically because we have different points that are very quickly chosen, focuses from each letter that have a dominant focus on some point or some direction or some orientation, and by combining these letters we actually can calculate beforehand what kind of orientation we are using in each word. It is weird for a lot of people that I say this, that letters are meaningful, that we follow these meanings, but yeah, numbers are natural. The sounds also are like distinctions, and these distinctions are really in a quite organized balance between each other, so that we really pick out things that are obvious, normal, up, right, left, middle. All these elements are based upon what we recognize easily, and they are as easily recognized as 1, 2, 3. So it is a system also of 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 options in one sentence, two sentences, or three sentences, and all the variation that you can have are enough actually to make that balanced out distinction between all the letters. And of course, calculations like sum and plus should be clear as well. I often go to a slightly different vision perspective. I always was a bit annoyed when I was in school before, and I always had a presentation of this is a truthful method, this is a very good theory, and then there's another philosopher or there's another person who says, no, it's different. I don't understand why people really need a theory or a definition that is so narrow into a situation that doesn't adapt to the situation. When you have Freud, he had a very good idea in psychology then, and that was in these circumstances perfectly written down and described and so on. But in different circumstances there are different emphases and they don't match, and so you have to make a new theory. No, a theory has to be in that way, and that's my theory also. It is very simple, it's very simplistic, but in the same way you need to have these adaptations the whole time. So adapt to what you have. It's an intelligence that you need to develop so that you can apply these things to everything. And now I will also have a different angle, so you have to be able to see the things from a different angle. So I also have these 3 times 3 times 3 focuses in a slightly different way, and maybe for some people this will work for most associations, and it might even be a very good angle because it's very practical. Let's have this angle, show it how we can make sum and plus easily described as functions, as orientations, as focuses. So let's go have a few letters out of it. I will take the last row, so the diagonal direction, and I have these 3 letters in the first system in the 3 positions, the middle, in the body and at the sides, and also in 1, 2, 3. So these are also 3 kinds of focuses. You focus on one go, 2 and 3, and it doubles itself also because for several reasons. But we focus actually into that one point K, B and X, and that's where we see these positions and differences in positions, and we deal with a little bit more. That's why you have 2 forms, 3 forms. That's the way of order of trying to organize. But the first three letters, or the 3 times 3 letters, are about points mostly. So this is one presentation at the border where we go and focus upon. But basically we're focusing upon points of differences. k into one point of difference of a diagonal. The directions are not so important in the first 3 times 3 positions. It's about positions. So you have 1 position in the diagonal, 2 positions in the diagonal, 3 positions that are different in the diagonal. So we see more and more differences, and these differences makes us realize, oh, what do we need to do, because we need just one focus. So basically you can see all these points, but some points will dominate. So K is that doubtful point where you say, oh, it is different from the center. What shall I do? Can I still use it as a center? I will. B is, oh, it is indeed farther away from the center, but there are differences even there. What shall I choose? Okay, I choose the most diagonal. I choose the most away from it, so that I can realize what's going on. With X even more, yeah, of course also there you use the most diagonal, but there are already so many variations that you're not very sure anymore on what to focus, because there are differences that are already appearing at that surface. You see, your vision, your focus is different because of the elements. You have 1, 2 or 3 elements. The diagonals are secondary in this case, but the points where we at the end focus upon is the most dominant. On the next level, it is like it's not enough to realize, okay, but what shall we do with it? So there is this comparison going on the next level, which is involved with timing. So you need a bit more time for it, and you say, but where is it going to? Where are these points going to? So the same thing that I have there in that first vision, there in that first darker circle there, you have the same things as K, B and X, but you want to focus a bit more, but what is it maybe going somewhere? And what is the most dominant point? I realize a little bit more that, like, yeah, but this dominant point, where is it going? This where is it going is the direction. So you more pinpoint and have more attention to that direction where it is going to, into the diagonal in this case, and the diagonal facing the diagonals in these 3 points will also lead you to a different direction. So these directions are important, so that you see, okay, but where are these points going? You see, it's a different perspective already, a different focus, and so you have an action and a realization, and then you deal with mostly not just the points of where am I at this moment. No, where is it directing to is more not my focus, and of course there's that doubt there's as well of like which point is most dominant, but we choose at the end the most clear directions, and these are the next level also on the third degree, let's say, of the second level. There you have then the 3 letters Y, W and P, which tells you in which direction things are going from the center point of vision, from the growing part of vision, and from the end positions or the borders positions. Where are these things going? So that's the way of orientating ourselves into these letter positions or directions also in this case. So, but also then there is a next level, because when the points alone are unclear, that's number 1 there on top, and also the directions are not enough, because there's also some these directions might not be stable if you follow the same directions the whole time. There's not enough adaptation, and sometimes you see in your attention, oops, I need a little bit more detail, a little bit more adaptation. There's a feedback process involved, and once that feedback process is involved, where you have to adapt with your directions as well, you come to the next level, and that's the G, R and S, and of course you need this adaptation, and you need a strategy for it, a strategy of a certain performance. So G, R, and S are also performances. And what you need to focus upon then, a frame is the most clear, because the directions they are about adaptation. It's this frame that you see, okay, but here, from here to here, I can realize in this area what are the directions that I'm going to deal with. A sum of directions, a sum of behaviors, and there will be defined my behaviorism of what I need in these letters. So the focus there in that frame is needed and is required only to predict the required behavior of the directions that are also changing. So G, R, and S are these three positions, the same thing again, but with more detail, and you can also add the same background there as well. So you have these double one focus, double focus, triple focus, a triple element focus. Sorry, what I'm looking into this frame, and this frame asks into these variations that you had there, actually some adaptation. So that means that you have some variations where you can adapt to. So the variations of directions are behaving themselves from left to right, also into an adaptation process. It's an adaptation process into one go, two go, or three goes as well in G, R, and S. So these numbers have a counting ability there as well. Resumed is also like this, because it's just one direction in G, the two directions, but it becomes a rhythm in R, and the S is not just a rhythm, it's also an adaptive rhythm, like the form of the letter S, and you can adapt these extra forms as a result into this behaviorism that is required. That could have been required in the B already, that he says, okay, but how shall I approach it into the behaviorism? Do so the B adaptive to the R. I had some videos before, is that I know how to adapt to these changes via R, or I know how to behave into the changes that are also changing. There are too many changes going on, 1, 2, 3. So I will have this rhythm of variations, not just a rhythm, but I have a rhythm of variations that I adapt to as well. So it's even more complicated, and that's the last letter as well as the S. And that can also be used also for the directions. It's not just the directions now, but I also have my behaviorism with G, R, and S. So I have three levels of the same thing, going deeper and deeper into the matter, so that I can adapt to all kinds of situations that are into that similar or same kind of focus, where I focus with more attention to it as well. So here is another explanation, another angle, and this could help you to form also your own method, maybe even that it makes it more clear for you how these letters are orientations. But let's have two examples. These are calculations, actually. The sum is a calculation. So they should also be clear by combining these focuses. So we have the focus in sum. We have the focus, we have the S, the behaviorisms that are needed in the frame. We have the M, that is this time it is into the vertical sense, and the U is in the horizontal sense, with two points, and the M with 3 points according to the theory, or 3 directions in S, and so on. So how do we combine them now theoretically? So we go from S to U to M, and we also describe what we are doing there. In this frame, we already know we have with the end letter, the last letter that is, it is a totality of all the required adaptations that you need, so that you know what you need to adapt. So it's that kind of totality, which also of course fits with sum already. So that's our first focus. Let's focus upon the totality, what will be required here. What I will work with is defined in U. U is on the second level. You have these two values there, and I repeated that again and again. The U is you have two options, and you choose the most clear one. So you have these two values, two starting points, but you go for the most clear one. So they are incomplete values in a way as starting points, but you go for it, and gradually it will fill itself in. That's more the U. It also still fits with sum, so you have this totality of values that needs to be filled in gradually. Where is your result? In the letter M, and M is the maximum of materialization and also the maximum that you can take out. Here you have these also incomplete pictures of what kind of variations do I have. I'll have a lot of variations in M that I'm focused upon, but I take the one that I can that is most dominant, that I can also take out as well, and that's the M. And yes, that describes actually sum very well. I have this totality of incomplete values that I will see that I can make the maximum of it, and that will make the sum also. It's a very good description of what a sum is. Plus then is, okay, I have some other letters. I have the S there. I have the P, which is in the second degree there, about timing, that I have to have an action indeed to come to that direction that I need. I have the L underneath and the U underneath, which are in the materialization focus of in space. So I'm focusing upon these things. In L, it is in the middle there, it is focusing upon two differences into the body, into the volume. So about an increase, I look into the increase. What is increasing here? What is becoming more? Which is just, but which is becoming more, in that way. U, again, the incomplete values or starting point. So let's have this defined in the right order. I will start from P. So I work, actually, like in the action, like you have timing. In timing, you work towards, in this case, to an end result of all the directions, and I work towards what I want to achieve, and which is the most clear direction or resulting direction of a process, mostly. That's the P. There's like you have a lot of directions and you have the end result. Okay, now I see in which direction I will be able to go to, and that's the most clear direction that I can get out of it. So that's your intention in the P. The L is, and what is your intention? Focus upon an increase. Plus, still correct, it's an increase of all the incomplete values that I have. So this will become more as well, and where I will enter again into the totality, of that I required all what I needed, and I adapted to it in my calculations. Also, I calculated it well into my. I behaved. It's like that kind of behavioral feedback process as well in general, but it's actually going to that totality as well, that I have indeed, with the sum of this again, an increase of the value, so that I can create that I can have a calculation of this. So how much do I have at the end? How much did was I able to achieve in its totality as well? That's the plus in the end. And I hope these were already a bit more clear by this method. This method was a little bit different as in some other videos, but it's good to have a different angle to look at the same things in a slightly different way now and then. Okay, thanks again for watching. Bye. It's the comprehension, it's the understanding which is more important than a method which is used blindly without knowing what you're working with. It's more important that you develop that intelligence for the interpretation with it. Thanks again for watching. Bye.